All right, so I study popular culture.
Indeed.
Bruce, not so much the popular culture sociologist, more so me. And I'm always fascinated by how, things we dance to or movies we're watching, how they really affect our values, our systems, our beliefs. So,
Right.
that being said, over the past weekend, one of the things in popular culture was Beyonce's performance at the Video Music Awards, MTV VMAs. If you haven't seen it, find it, watch it. I'm curious though, given the take and the role of feminism. We're really just tapping into an existing debate. But that was highlighted at the VMAs when she slid across the words feminism, right? And the TEDx speech was playing in the background as it is in her song.
Right.
What was your thoughts on that? I made him watch it, by the way.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. When every semester when I start off a class and start talking about sex and sexuality, I do ask my students, just in general, it's like, how many of you identify as a feminist? And there's always like maybe two, maybe three students that identify. But then I tell them and share with them the definition of feminism, which is what she had playing in her video, which is, feminism is the political, social, and economic equality of women. And after I showed them that definition, and then I ask them again, are you a feminist? And then now 3/4 of the class has their hand up. And what I want to speak to is just this is that look I'm going to be real about this. The image that she gave was incredibly complex, and I'm not going to say that she is not a feminist or if she is a feminist or whatever. What I want to say though is that the way that she wrapped that up, it can be very confusing, the image that you finally get, because when she's talking about the political economic equality of women and she's wrapping it in this hypersexual space. This is something that really makes me, as a sociologist, as a father, as a man, as a someone who claims to be a feminist myself, that it's a really complex message that you're sending. And to do this as an art piece, I get also, she doesn't need to explain what she's doing. She's just doing it, and this is art. But for the rest of us, and I'm going to own this straight up, when I saw this part of it, because I didn't know that she was going to do any of that in the beginning, and so I was just receiving it in regards to just her performance. And so when I saw this, when I saw her outfit, all that fired off in my brain was the object part of my brain. Like this, and if you need help with that one, refer to the video about the bikinis thing and talk if you're trying to figure out where I'm going with that. But for real, I couldn't. I really had a hard time processing just that imagery because, like I said, because of the hypersexual content of what she was doing up there. And so that was really difficult for me. And like I said, I'm going to own it. And look, I have my PhD and all of this. And so if I'm having a difficulty with what I do and how I interpret things, and then it was also in the context that you were saying, Bruce, watch this. And so it's like, even with all of that, I still, boom, the object part of my brain is firing off. And this is like, I wonder what everybody else was doing at that time.
And one thing for me, just tapping into this debate or thinking about it, two authors come to mind. One, Audre Lorde and the uses of the erotic, right? Where reclaiming of sexuality is extremely vital and important to not just the feminist movement, but just to the overall project of understanding women as equal bodies, right? Females as equal bodies and people who I do not identify as man or woman for that matter, right? The reclaiming of sexuality, the use of sexuality, performing sexuality. I'm totally am not of the mind to say that has no place in the feminist discussion or that all, sexual performances or such are just objects or have no place or just recreating the entire sexist system. But the other author that comes to mind is Bell Hooks. And one thing that she always stresses is it's patriarchy, racist, capitalist, white supremacy. These things all go together.
Right.
And to just reclaim the feminist space in one regard, to me, in Beyonce's performance, but it also makes more intense the capitalist structure, right? And to the point where, yes, you can now be selling a brand of feminism through hypersexuality that even if it is or is not feminist, is not conducive towards helping my daughter, helping your daughter feel more empowered and more able to be equal and compete fairly and justly in these United States.
And to be fair, she was trying to present an image of the complexity of the human spirit, if you would. And she was saying that, she showed parts where she was a mother, she showed parts where she was a husband, where she was a wife and a corporation person. But if you're gonna do that, and then she showed the sexuality part, the sexual part, but the sexual part, just, I mean, out of the 15 minutes, there had to been about at least 10 to 12 minutes of the sexual part, and then little bits of the other stuff. And it's like, look, to present this complex image, you got to give equal time. It's like you got to really, I would argue that you have to give more equal time in order for people to really catch the message versus you selling something and really being behind the statement that you were seemingly making in that space.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Would your wife let you go to a Beyonce concert?
Oh, hell no.